Alright guys, let's talk about the state of the game August 23rd. Let's get into it. Hopefully you guys can hear me. The name is Joe and I am the game director for Destiny 2. Right now the team and I are heads down on making sure the final shape and the seasons leading up are incredible. So for the rest of this update, you'll be hearing from a bunch of different voices that all contributed to the mid-year state of the game. I wanted to start with the quick thanks to all of you who have been playing Destiny for so many years. The way you play and your feedback you give is a huge part of what shapes our plans, and it's an honor to log in each day and play in the universe alongside all of you. Back in February, we covered the state of the game heading into Lightfall and laid out a big goals we set ourselves with Destiny 2 preparation for the final shape. Then in April, we looked back on the lessons we learned from the launch and charted a path forward into the first half of Lightfall's year. Today, we're diving into the second half of the year, addressing some of the community's burning questions, updating everyone on the progress against those for our goals for the year, previewing some of the exciting updates as we count down the days of the Destiny 2 showcase on August 22nd. If you guys can hear a fan, sorry about that. As always, we'd like to celebrate our community for the first and foremost, we're thankful to see many players continuing to join throughout the journey, and it's been amazing to welcome new lights and we ever expected with Lightfall. Since the release of the Final Shape teaser trailer in May, the community reactions of Cade 6's upcoming return have been nothing short of heartwarming, and we can't wait to share more to showcase later this month. But before all that, it's time to dig in the game we're making and playing right now. Little screenshot there. Addressing feedback. We've been tracking a number of player feedback items over the past few months. While we've covered some issues recently, including the roadmap for improvements in general stability, it's time for a detailed check in our progress in several areas of the game. Ritual updates. We've heard plenty of feedback from the players that our ritual playlist should feel more constantly rewarding to play. Those rewards should drop more frequently, regardless of those activities. We agree. Let's talk about it, what we've done. With the Season of the Deep, we've upgraded the weekly ritual challenge to exotic engrams to give that consistent sources materials to focus extract exotic armor they want to run. In Season 22, we're updating those weekly ritual challenge requirements so players can complete their 9 challenges in any ritual playlist they'd like, as opposed to having to complete 3 each across Vanguard, Crucible, and Gambit. We're also increasing the frequency of ritual engram drops after completing activities, and we're making the latest ritual loot pool weapons focusable as their respective vendors for the start of the season for the first time. Sorry about that. We're loading our ritual vendors with fresh weapons in Season 22, including the Unending Tempest Stasis submachine gun in the Crucible, the Luna Regoloff 3 Solar Sniper and Strikes, Qual Zavan V Void Machine Gun in Gambit, the Kata Raffic GL3 Strand Grenade Launcher in Trials of Osiris, and more. We're also bringing some fan favorites in our Rituals playlist, including Igneous Hammer, Solar Hand Cannon in Trials, and revamping Warden's Law, the brand new archetype Nightfall. This is how we're making our core rituals more rewarding overall, but we're doing for each specific area. Let's start with PvP. There's Shax. Guardians vs. Guardians. Thanks for the hard work of multiple teams. We delivered several additional to PvP over the past few seasons. These include the launch of Competitive Division, multiple new game modes, revamp of Trials of Osiris, new competitive and Trials rewards, Fireteam matchmaking improvements, new rotator playlists, PvP specific weapon tuning, several quality of life improvements, and more. However, our hardcore PvP players want more maps, fewer cheaters, and an ever-evolving meta that feels good and to compete in. The most frequent feedback we see is that there is not enough PvP content, specifically new maps. To set expectations, our studio structure is built to support more overreaching updates to PvP like the ones above, rather than focusing exclusively on maps. When we do focus our resources on building new Crucible maps, it comes with a trade-off of multiple teams bandwidth on work that contributes to a variety of experiences that players also hold dear, such as a new story or exotic mission content. Core activities make up for foundation of the season and new destinations. Similarly, bringing back reprised maps also involves extensive porting to the latest version of Destiny 2, which requires additional resources to ensure that the maps work correctly for multiple game modes and playstyles for years to come. Get that guy out of here. With that said, we have some exciting content coming to PvP this month that several teams have brought to life, as well as an update in our advances in the game security and combat cheaters. To preview the upcoming sandbox shakeups and more details coming next week on the general PvP sandbox gear, ability, balance, and will evolve in Season 22, we have a new Vex network theme map debuting, along with the new Relic 6v6 mode, the gunplay focused checkmate modifier for multiple modes, and new competitive Ascendant Division emblem, and more. Relic Checkmate will both kick off in Crucible Labs throughout the season. We can gather feedback on how they are received. We'll have more and share in the showcase. So let's dive right in. So that's the new map that's going to be coming. Looks pretty cool. Like you're going in the Vex network, cyberspace. So the new map's going to be called Multiplex. For our newest PvP battlefield, we wanted to create a asymmetrical map using Vex environment as a backdrop that could work well for multiple game modes, with Vex network playing such as a crucial role in the story during Lightfall's year. We felt now was the perfect time to deliver this map. Although many of us had been thinking about lo-fi Vex map for the Crucible, the challenge of this palette was the possible lack of the orientation of the play space. We thought bringing Mars palette into a Vex network realm would be a great way to mitigate this while adding a Evo active look. Narratively, the space is in the middle of the compiling the infinite forest, so this is what you'll see in action. Watch the footage of this map in the showcase. Checkmate. Checkmate is a modifier where rich primary weapons fight can happen often, and gun skill can be augmented by communication and strong positioning. Primary weapon damage has been tuned to feel different than the rest of the game without being jarring, reducing the gap between the faster killing weapons and the average time to kill. In this general pushing longer range primaries into slower killing profiles, players' health has been increased, all ability cooldowns are lengthened, and special ammunition must be earned via gameplay and not dropped to death. On death. This is the results in slightly longer combat encounters that reward skill and consistency. Checkmate will be available in Crucible Labs from week 5 to week 10. We will start off with 2 weeks of Checkmate Control, then switch it up with 2 weeks of Checkmate Survival, and finally 2 weeks of Checkmate Rumble to finish off the Trials run. For this Season 22, Relic. Relic is a 6v6 party mode where players wreak havoc and destruction on their foes with relic weapons. Relics include the Aegis from the Vault of Glass, the Synatic Spear from the Season of the Risen, the Scythe from the Season of the Haunted. Each player changes their personal relic energy by defeating opponents with their normal loadout. Upon reaching full charge, players can acquire a relic and a relic depot. Defeating relic holders and using relics to defeat opponents earns points for the team. Whereas Checkmate is heavily focused on gunfights, Relic is intended to provide lighthearted gameplay that can be enjoyed by anyone, similar to Mayhem and Team Scorched. Relic will be available in the Crucible Labs from week 1 to week 4, and again in week 11. Until the close of the season, we look forward to hearing your feedback of Checkmate and Relic when they roll out next season. Matchmaking improvements. Dang, we're barely getting into this, guys. Our quests to improve the Iron Banner. We're gonna kind of go through this now. Blah blah blah. We look to improve the matchmaking time, experiences, find upper lower ends in the skill spectrum. The team is also adding loose fire team matchmaking to the Crucible rotators, including labs, to ensure players have similar sizes. Additionally, we'll be tackling the lobby balancing. Blah blah blah. Looking further ahead, we're planning to deliver a new Iron Banner mode for Season 23, along with the Hawkeye Aggressive Frame Strand Pulse Rifle and the newest competitive vision reward. You guys can read through that. Pretty crazy. Some new stuff coming for competitive in season 23. All right, Vanguard people, this is for you. I'm not gonna really read into it, but we got first up Vanguard medals. We're gonna introduce last year's event. We decided to bring them in full time spice in the Vanguard playlist. They're gonna get medals each time you're in the playlist now, and yeah, you can get different medals. You guys can read and all that. I'm not too much into that, but that's that, guys. You can pause it if you have to. Gambit. As many players have noticed, we've been quiet on Gambit since last year's overhaul that launched alongside with Witch Queen. In that revamp, the team made significant changes across 5 categories in Gambit: core activity, fundamentals, primeval, tuning, invasions, ammo economy, and rewards. Unfortunately, these updates didn't move the needle for player engagement. Although we know our Gambit fans mostly care about newer returning maps, this area of the game is lower engagement that would take resources away from the popular parts of the game to shore up. While we don't have plans to dedicate more resources to transform Gambit, we do have a few updates planned for the year of the final shape. So there you guys go. There's probably going to be some armor and rewards coming and stuff. Some new Gambit stuff. All right, this is about the cheaters probably. Zen Cronus users. Game security. Our security teams works to prevent cheaters from ruining the experience for legitimate players, whether that can be directly in competitive PvP activities or indirectly via boosting and making new burner accounts, bringing them into the endgame content like trials. Here are a few things from 2023 we can share with you about our ongoing mission to protect players from cheaters and enable players to experience the game as designers intended. What has changed in the Destiny 2 security this year? Over the course of the year, we have invested further data and science to the machine learning, building confidence in detections they produce. These tools allow us to observe and evaluate player behavior in new ways to issue an increasing number of actions in response. In addition, we continue to adapt these policies to protect players, including abuse of external accessibility tools policy. The development of the policy has allowed us to catch cheaters that we may not have otherwise. This policy not only gives us an avenue to action this form of cheating, but it also spurred up to investigate player behavior in new ways. Finally, we worked with BattleEye to address the network manipulation tools, improving our data collection, detection, and mitigation strategies. Competition is best when fair, so we will continue to ensure bans on restriction on those abusing these methods. So yeah, that is that, guys. You guys can look at that more if you need to. Pause it. Pretty cool, pretty cool. I like this screenshot. All right. Stability updates. An update 7.1.5 rolled out in mid-June. Service improvements that provide increased stability. This includes new logs, metrics, blah, blah, blah. They got to fix this stuff, guys, basically. Seasonal structure. Ooh, who's that? But let me go back so you guys can read into that if you need to. Pause it. So yeah, gonna be fixing the servers hopefully. As we mentioned back in February, we've been working to shake up the seasonal paragram this year to subvert the expectations seasons feel unique. We know players are looking for more variety in seasonal activities, and more than anything, we want to constantly surprise everyone when it comes to each season. Although we want to talk a bit more about this below, we're giving ourselves more freedom and narrative gameplay throughout the seasons 22 and 23. Preview to what's to come. Before we get into our 6-month progress report on goals for this year, we wanted to share some previews of several quality of life upgrades to the core sandbox in season 22. Some of these designed to simply make your everyday Destiny 2 experience better for PvE and PvP. Along with new content we've called here and everything in the revealed in the showcase, Destiny 2 will feel fresh and exciting for many players as possible. Quality of life upgrades, cosmetic favoring. At long last, you'll be able to At long last, you'll be able to pin up to 100 of your favorite shaders and ornaments on the top of the list in Season 22. Pretty cool. Stasis aspects. Any character you completed beyond light camping will require available stasis aspects and fragments from else. Thank you. I don't need to do all that. Transmats with new unlocks. Like shaders before, transmats can be stored and unlocks an account and consumable items. Feel free to change transmats without blah blah blah. Wish Ender Pursuit improvements. Resources tab collections. Yeah, better life. Iron Banner challenges split. You guys can read that. Some new Iron Banner stuff. New strand aspects at the end of Season 22. New Whirling Maelstrom, Banner of the War. Stay tuned for more info. Exotic armor reworks coming. Weapon tuning. There's just a bunch of stuff, guys, coming out. I don't know if they already did it, but yeah. Reinforcing our goals for this year. About 6 months ago, we laid out a plan to achieve the main goals for Destiny 2, previous state of the game, expand players, bring back the enrich our content, connect Guardians with Lightfall, its first 2 seasons in our belt, launch the Destiny 2 showcase, blah, blah, blah. Destiny 2 scorecard first up. To expand players' imaginations in Lightfall, the season of Defiance, we transformed many of ways players typically interact with the game, from core systems to build crafting overhauls to streamlining seasonal currencies with the season. Blah blah blah. Now we're spoiling anything ahead of showcase. Our next season will be heading into creative territories we're never explored before. We're changing things up in a big way, including seasonal progression program with all new mechanic, all to be revealed August 22nd. Taking a step back to examine the overall narrative for the year, the team is laser focused on ensuring the connective tissue in our storytelling between seasons 20 and 23. The final shape is more impactful than last year's seasons were leading up to Lightfall. We're taking feedback to heart, loading up this year to important moments designed to capture players' imaginations to move the saga forward with each beat. We've already proven this out with the Season of Deep with the revelations of the Witness's origins. Substantial lore drops throughout the season of Neomuna, explications of what the Guardians go from there for the final missions cutscenes. We know there are some who would have preferred to experience these stories during Lightfall's campaign. With those players in mind, we believe the totality of this year's narratives will set the stage for the final shape in the ways the single story beat never could. And to put concerns to rest right away, the final shape is, and this raid will provide a climatic conclusion to the light and darkness saga before we look ahead to what comes in Destiny 2. Bring back challenge to Destiny, blah blah blah. Guess it's not making additional tweaks to Lightfall's launch, but you guys can read that. Enrich our content. Basically, guys, they're just going to make everything better. Pathfinder, I have no idea what this is. PvP front, we're delivering on the Season 22 above. New multiplex map, relic, game mode, checkmate, game modifier, new competitive ascended division emblem, a new Trials of Osiris armor set, new addition returning weapons, the Crucible Iron Banner, new Trials playlist, also new sandbox, new exotic armor, weapon updates, blah blah blah. Well, finally, we got called out in February that initially targeting more changes to rituals in the final season, while recent initiative to the final shape, we have plans to replace some bounties and rewarding the engaging system tentatively. The Pathfinder, this is going to debut it in the new destination in the final shape. We're currently nailing down the plan we can use for the system to replace the core ritual bounties in the new year. That's the new system. Connect our Guardians. Destiny 2, include newsways that key in game's moments. Guardians caught up the confrontation with the witness. Feature will be silver bullet for players run in game before including raids. Master. Alright, we'll see. Features listed above. We're about to show on August 22nd. Everything yet to come. Blah, blah, blah. We'll create the best gameplay experience for the widest possible audience in Destiny 2 has ever seen. The final shape is incredibly special to us as a culmination of Destiny's first decade, and we're committed to making it special for all of our players worldwide for the showdown for the witness approaches. Thanks again for taking the time to read this. Today was just a piece of what we had to have in store. So if you don't want to run into any of the tower before then, we sure hope to see you all in the showcase on the 22nd, Joe. Alright. That is it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please make sure you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe. Peace out.